Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about doing a minimalist reset. And I'm going to share 10 habits and hacks to keep your life simple and to keep your home simple as well. And so today's video is going to be perfect for anyone who's either just getting started with minimalism or who wants to get back into it, or who just kind of wants to hit that reset button, get back to basics, and learn some things that are pretty small that you can do that will already give you great results. I am going to go make myself a nice cup of coffee, so feel free to join me, and then I will see you in a little bit. So I'm back from taking a week off, and it has been a really nice week of just slowing down, recharging, relaxing a little bit. I also had some things that I wanted to do, like some chores and stuff in the house, and it has been really nice. But I also really missed you, so I am happy to be filming again today. And today's video is sponsored by Function of Beauty, which is a new sponsor for the channel, so I'm excited, and we'll chat more about them later. Alright, so the first habit that I want to discuss here is to do the 1-year test, which means that every time you are looking to buy something new, you do this 1-year test first. So what this means is simply to imagine, if you want to buy something new, imagine what buying that item will do for you exactly 1 year from today. And this is a very handy trick that you can do to help make sure that you're being very intentional with your purchases. So you could, for example, imagine how your home would be 1 year from now with this item in there. And you imagine that 1 year from now you're still often using this item or still really loving that item in your home? Do you have like a space envisioned for it where it will be? Or if you think about it, will it be one of those items that is just there among the other items and not really being used or seen as much, and perhaps even just gathering dust? So the reason that this works really well is that it helps us to kind of look past that initial spark of excitement that we get when we're thinking about buying something new, because that spark will always fade after a certain amount of time has passed. For example, just off the top of my head, let's say that you're thinking about buying an eyeshadow palette. Then will you actually be just as hyped and excited about it 1 year from now about this palette? Or will it just be one of the other palettes that you already own and you're hardly using? And I think this also works really well to avoid certain hypes, because it's easy to kind of jump on the hype train if something is really popular, but will it also still add value for you in a real way in a year from now? And of course, there's always exceptions to be thought of. Sometimes we're just thinking about buying something because we need it right now, and that's okay too, of course. But these might be items that you could also potentially borrow or rent, or just donate or sell again when you're done with them. The next habit to keep your life simple and minimal and intentional is to be very mindful of the commitments that you are accepting into your life. And for me, this was kind of hard to define at first, and now I have a rule for it that I try to follow, and that is, if something is not a clear yes, then it's a no, and usually that works really well. If you feel awkward about saying no to people, and it's something that I definitely have experienced, then try to get in the habit of telling them that you will think about it first and that you will come back to them with your answer maybe later that day or tomorrow. And this will give you time to first reflect on it and see how you really feel. And also, if you think that the answer should be no, this will give you time to kind of prepare what you're going to say in advance. I've also lately been reflecting a little bit about why it is that I sometimes have a hard time with saying no to people, or how difficult I feel to disappoint people, and whose approval am I trying to gain, or why I feel the need to be perfect for everyone else. And also why or what would happen if I said no this one time, or if I didn't deliver absolute perfection in what I did. And these questions have been tricky, but I think it is very valuable if you experience this yourself to think about things like this, because it can really start an interesting reflection and something that could be very valuable insights. Minimalist reset habit number 3 is to do a quick tidy 2 times a day. This is super nice and easy. I usually do this in the morning after breakfast and then in the evening before I go to bed. Usually takes about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer if you have kids or pets, I imagine. And just getting everything back to its place where it belongs, doing a quick sweep around the house, and this really helps because then the next time you come home from work or you get out of bed in the morning, the house will be organized and tidy and you won't come home to this explosion of mess and clutter and dirty kitchen items. And staying within this simple home category, this next one is a habit that I started doing about a year ago, and it has been super helpful in simplifying my life and my home, and that is to create a cleaning schedule. So what I did is I sat down and I took some time, pen and paper, and I identified all the cleaning chores in the house, with the exception of just daily things like the dishwasher or the laundry, more like the deep cleaning stuff that you want to do around your house. And then besides that chore, I wrote down how often I want that to be done. So some things are every week, some things are every 2 weeks or every month or even every 3 months or 6 months, depending on the type of chore. And then I simply added them to a schedule in my calendar. So I had a calendar app specifically for our cleaning schedule. And this works wonderful because usually every week we have 2 chores, sometimes it's 3. It just works out that way. And what we do on Monday is we divide up the chores among us 2. So we decide who is going to do what, and we don't assign a specific day. So just a time that works for you, you get your chore done. And the wonderful thing about this is that you never have to think about when you need to clean something. And in my experience, my home now is like every day is cleaner because things are being maintained better. We don't wait for things to get really dirty. We make sure that everything is cleaned in the amount of time that it needs. And even though things are cleaner, I don't feel like it is costing us more time because, like I said, we usually only have 2 or 3 chores in a week, and that is pretty doable. And it made everything so much simpler because now I never have to think about when I need to clean what or who needs to do what. It's just a lot better. So I really recommend this one. We have a lot more coming up, but first a quick word for today's sponsor, Function of Beauty, and they make custom hair care products where you exactly get to choose what you want for your specific hair type and your specific hair goals. And I have actually recently switched up my hair routine completely and Function of Beauty has been a big part in that. So I recently found out that I have wavy hair and that if I just change a few things in my hair care routine, that my hair gets like this. And it may seem really strange, but I honestly didn't know that my hair was this wavy or that it could do this. I always thought that I had pretty unmanageable hair, which is why I usually wore it up in a ponytail or a braid. I've also been growing out my natural hair color for a while, so this dark part, that is my own color. I also stopped using heat on my hair, and I'm just really excited to kind of let my hair do its own thing and kind of embrace the natural pattern of my hair more. Everyone's hair is unique, and with Function of Beauty you can customize and choose your own hair profile and hair goals. I chose wavy hair with a coarse structure and normal scalp, and for hair goals I chose anti-frizz, curl definition, deep condition, hydrate and replenish hair. I also got their hair mask, and so far my hair has become a bit more manageable, which is nice. It feels less tangled, although I do really still need a haircut. So I find it really nice to get something that is truly tailored for my hair and my goals, because I have never been able to find something like that before. And I'm starting to notice that my hair is becoming a bit more hydrated as well. You can also further customize by choosing your own colors and scents. I chose the shea butter scent and it is amazing. I definitely recommend that one. And you can also opt for fragrance-free, dye-free or silicone-free products if you prefer. As always, I'm excited that their products are vegan and cruelty-free, and they also contain no parabens, sulfates, GMOs, or toxins. If you want to check them out, you can click the link in the description box to get 20% off your first order. Big thanks to Function of Beauty for supporting the channel, and let's get back to our minimalist reset. This next habit works really well to keep your home organized and tidy and simple, and also to make sure that your belongings make sense in your life. I think minimalism is not necessarily about having very few things, but it's more about having the right amount of things. And so what you could do is to look at a certain category of items in your home. Let's say it is shoes, and then ask yourself, get in the habit of asking yourself, does this amount of shoes make sense for what I use it for and what I want out of it? And does this actually fit my lifestyle? Or having a really big makeup collection when actually most days you prefer to just keep it very minimal and simple, and just owning a few extra lipsticks and maybe a palette would be enough if you ever want to, feel like you want to dress up. I often ask myself, what is the right amount of this thing for me, and does this make sense for me? And do I perhaps own more than I would rationally use in my life? Another amazing minimalism hack that you can start doing today is going paperless. Paper clutter tends to be a really big heartache for a lot of people, and it is just a very annoying thing that we have to deal with. And the thing here is that you don't have to go paperless overnight, and it doesn't have to be this huge thing. The only thing that you can make into a habit for yourself is every time some kind of paper comes into your home, just quickly think, is this something that actually needs to be here, or can I fix this some other way? And sometimes it might mean that you're unsubscribing from something because you don't need it to come to you in the first place. Or if it is important mail or something that you would like to be notified of, then maybe you can contact that company and opt for email only, which in my experience is often possible. So if you do this every time some kind of paper comes into your home, of course there will always be some things that you just need to deal with because it's important that these things come to you through paper. But if you do it every other time, you will find that less and less new paper comes into your home eventually, and it'll be easier and easier to deal with paper clutter, to the point where right now with us, I feel like we might get papers into our home twice a month on average, and that is it. And that is very easy to organize. Number 7 that I want to talk about today is to practice being content with what you are doing in your life, specifically the amount of things that you are doing in your life. Our society is so focused on being more productive, getting more done, achieving more results or better results. And we need to have a career, we need to exercise and be really fit and healthy. And we need to meal plan and learn languages and keep up a rich social life, and making sure that every minute of every day is spent effectively. I feel like no matter how much we do, there are always things that we could do more. And so this way, it'll just be this never-ending thing where we'll never feel content about our life and our output, because there's always more that we could be doing. So try to first practice being content with what you are doing in your life right now. Even if you feel that it is not nearly enough, or even if you tend to call yourself lazy or unmotivated, I think that that is where it starts, because we are worthwhile just because of who we are. Just that alone is enough. If you can do this, then maybe you can afterwards start to mindfully see in which areas of life you might perhaps want to be a bit more productive, because this way it comes from a place of positivity, of self-acceptance and contentment. And I think only if we do it like that can we truly think that what we do adds value. The same way that we can go paperless, kind of slow and steady, we can also use that to curate our social media. Every time you notice that someone you're following on social media is not making your life better in any way with their posts, and if that is like a recurring thing, then be sure to immediately click unfollow. I think if we want to be intentional with social media, it can really help to not follow hundreds and hundreds of people, but be very mindful of who you're following and just only following a small amount of people who are actually contributing to your life in any way. And of course, this also goes for the social media platforms in itself. So every time you open an app, get in the habit of quickly asking yourself what it is doing for your mood in that specific time. So is it making you feel better? Is it doing nothing much, or is it even detracting from your mood in any way? And if that is happening, then just try deleting the app for a while, going without it for a while, and see how that feels. One of the best minimalism tips that I can give you is to stop browsing and to stop looking for things to want, and instead only going out for specific items if you feel that there is a specific need. I've been a minimalist for about 8 years now, a little bit longer, and it has become so normal for me. It is like second nature. I'm really used to it. However, if I start browsing something, whether that's an actual store or an online shop or a catalog of some kind, I will usually find something that I think is super cool and now I want to have it. And even though I didn't even know about it before I started browsing, now it has become something that I cannot really get out of my head. So now that I know this about myself, I stopped browsing, and this has helped me not only to buy a lot less unnecessary items, but also have much greater appreciation for the items that I already own. If you find that you're having trouble staying motivated in your minimalism journey, or that you often just want to buy something new for one reason or another, I invite you to try this one out and stop browsing. Another tip that can greatly help you to simplify your life and hit that minimalist reset button is to purposefully schedule empty time pockets in your calendar. Whether that's a day a week or 30 minutes a day or a weekend a month, it doesn't matter. It has to make sense for you and your schedule and how busy you are. But I find that if you don't become proactive and actually cross out certain blocks of time in your calendar before scheduling anything else, you will never have free time. If we let our commitments and the little things run our life, it is really hard to find some time to reflect and do whatever it is that we need to do at that specific moment, and kind of think about how things are going for us and how happy we are with how things are going for us. And it makes us feel like we are only working in our life instead of also working on our life, if that makes sense. One way that I try to do this is when scheduling my social stuff, which is not happening right now, but let's say it was, on the weekend, and then leaving one weekend day open. So if I have something social going on Saturday, then I will not schedule anything for Sunday. And it doesn't mean that I have the whole Sunday to relax. I still have things to do. I still have, I don't know, grocery shopping or cleaning or working for a couple hours. So I don't have to have the whole day. But at least this way, it is not crammed every minute full with things, and I have a few hours to be with myself, to ground, to relax, and see what it is that I need. So I'm curious, if you could give one tip to someone who is just starting out with their minimalism journey, what would it be? Please leave that in the comments, and I'm excited to read it. And a quick reminder that this video is sponsored, so feel free to check out Function of Beauty, link in the description box. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, because that really helps. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do, because that also really helps. If you're looking for some money saving tips, then this video is for you. And if you're interested in doing a no buy or low buy challenge this year, then click this video. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.